Torah time! The weekly portion. What's it all about? It really means something. What can it teach me? Turn it. Everything's in it. Hi, welcome to Torah time. I'm Rabbi Stephanie Shore, and this week's portion is called Beshalach. It's from the book of Exodus. Now remember, last week we had the last plague, the last of the 10 plagues, which was the killing of the firstborn of the Egyptians. Well, after that happened, once again, Pharaoh said, Go, get your people out of here. So Moses took the children of Israel and they left Egypt. Well, they weren't too far out of Egypt until, guess what? Pharaoh changed his mind again. Pharaoh sent his army towards the children of Israel, and the children of Israel are walking through the desert, and all of a sudden, they come upon the Sea of Reeds. Sometimes people call it the Red Sea, but really in the Torah, it's the Sea of Reeds. So the Egyptians are chasing after them, and the children of Israel are getting so scared. They say to Moses, "Why did you bring us out here just to die? We should have stayed in Egypt." Well, God said to Moses, "Why do you all cry out?" He said to Moses, "Take your staff and raise it upon the waters, and Israel will walk through the sea on dry land." That's super important. The Torah says it several times. God says the children of Israel will walk through the sea on dry land. I want you to remember that. So when the children of Israel crossed the sea and they were safely on the other side, Moses held up his staff and the waters closed in. And they closed in on all the Egyptian chariots and the army, and they were swallowed up by the sea. Well, Miriam took up her timbrel. Miriam is Moses' sister, and she takes up her tambourine, her timbrel, and she leads everybody in singing and dancing, praising God's miracle and how wondrous God is. Well, it's really important to remember this part. It's important to remember that the children of Israel at that point were so excited and so elevated by the fact that God had saved them. Well, Moses began to take the children of Israel further into the desert, and they were walking for 3 days. And after 3 days, the people started complaining. They said, "Hey, Moses, we have nothing to drink." And so Moses went to God. He said, "God, I need your help. These people are getting so angry." And God said, "Take this piece of wood, throw it into the water, and the water will become sweet." And so the people had water. But then a little more time passed and the people got hungry. And they went to Moses and they complained again. And Moses said to God, "Help me out here." And God said, "Okay, I'm going to give them bread in the morning and meat at night." Well, this is an amazing story. So I want to go back to the part where I said that the children of Israel walked through the sea on dry land. Think about that for a second. How can you walk through the sea on dry land? Wouldn't it be wet? It would be. So this is the point I want to make with you. When the children of Israel walked through the sea on dry land, it didn't mean that there weren't going to be troubles. The sea, yes, it had parted, but it was there. It was roaring and the waves were coming and everything was there. It's just that for the moment, they were given a space to walk through to safety. And isn't that just like our lives? Sometimes we have so much going on. The waves are crashing and the winds are blowing and the water is so high. And then something happens. We get a moment or a realization, or someone shares something with us, or our mom or dad or teacher gives us some guidance, and all of a sudden we can get through that challenge. Maybe the circumstances haven't really changed, but we're able to deal with it. That's God remaining anonymous. God speaking to us through our friends, through our parents, through our teachers, and we get the answer. That's what faith is. Faith is fear in action. And what is fear? Fear is something that sometimes is false evidence appearing real. And when we have courage, we can walk through our fears. We can walk through that raging sea, and we can get to the other side. The Torah is amazing. It teaches us so much. And this lesson, to walk through our fears so that we can get to the other side, is wonderful for us to use every day of our lives. Well, that's our Torah time for today. Thanks for stopping by. Shalom.
Torah time, the weekly portion. What's it all about? It really means something. What can it teach me? Turn it. Everything's in it.